Hello everyone, it's Jeff again, and I am in Homer, Nebraska, and I would like to tell you a story about this man right here, Richard J. Hart. Richard J. Hart, pictured on the left of this picture, was born on March 28, 1892. His little brother was born on the 17th of January, 1899. And this picture was taken in 1904 in the tenements of New York City, where both of the boys grew up. Richard, the older brother on the left, absolutely hated New York City. He didn't like the fast pace, the noise, the confusion. He always told everyone that the first chance he got, he was leaving and going somewhere where life was peaceful and slower. The other brother, little Al, he loved New York City. He loved the hustle and bustle. He loved the fact that he could make money on the streets, shining shoes, running errands, doing whatever. He loved the subways. He loved the hustle and bustle, the noise, the traffic. New York was made for him. He loved the city life. In 1908, a circus came to New York City, and Richard saw his chance to leave the hustle and bustle of the big city and go out to the west where the spaces were open and things moved slower, and he seized the opportunity. He asked the circus manager for a job, and just before his 16th birthday, he left with the circus. After working a year or so with the circus, he ended up settling down in the tiny little hamlet of Homer, Nebraska. When World War I came along, he enlisted in the army and served in France as a sharpshooter and attained the rank of lieutenant. When the war was over, he went back directly to Homer, Nebraska, his home. In 1919, he met and married Kathleen Winch and had 4 sons. He became a town constable for a short time and ended up becoming a federal agent. As a federal agent, his task was to arrest the people who manufactured illegal corn whiskey and sold it to the Indians in the local reservations. And he earned a reputation of being a very tough lawman. After going and seeing William S. Hart, Two Gun Hart, in a silent movie, he adopted the name for himself, Two Gun Hart. Prohibition came and went fairly quickly in American history, and after the law was repealed, our man Richard Hart went to work for the Bureau of Indian Affairs on the Indian Reservation on the shores of Lake Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Again, he was charged with finding the people that was selling untaxed alcohol to the Indians. He once worked on the detail protecting President Calvin Coolidge when he came to visit. He was known to have arrested at least 20 of the people that made the FBI's most wanted list during this time of his career. He was transferred to the beautiful city of Spokane, Washington, where he worked a few years as a federal agent, but he longed to return to Homer, Nebraska. His life definitely took a turn when he was sent out to arrest a bootlegger, and the man refused to surrender. He was shot and killed, and Hart was charged with manslaughter. He was convicted of manslaughter, but he was not required to go to prison, and he longed to return home to the soft rolling hills of Homer. Upon returning home, he was given his old job back as town constable and also served as the justice of the peace. It didn't last very long, though, because he was out of money, and he had spent it all defending himself against the charges of manslaughter. He was arrested for shoplifting from the local town grocery store, after which he was fired as the town constable and the town justice of the peace. By this time, people were getting very suspicious of him, and there was things about his life that just didn't add up, just didn't make sense. One person that decided they were going to investigate a little bit was the leader of the local American Legion, who, upon calling Washington, D.C., discovered there was no record of a Richard James Hart serving in the American military. So he was stripped of his eligibility to be in the American Legion. By now, he was out of money and without a job, and he decided that he was going to go to Chicago, where his brother now lived, and find him and ask him if he could get help. But it only made matters worse. Upon showing up at his brother's house in Chicago, he found out that his brother was under investigation by the FBI, and the FBI took him into custody and wanted the answers to questions. And it ended up making his life a whole lot worse. After being taken to the Cook County Courthouse, the FBI wanted answers, and they wanted them now. Under intense interrogation, he revealed he was not born Richard James Hart. He ended up testifying against his brother and sending him to prison for a very long time, where he ended up on the island of Alcatraz. And Hart returned to the only home he had ever known, Homer, Nebraska, to his wife and his 4 sons. His wife stuck by him through all of this, through thick and thin, until the day he died. Our man, Richard James Hart, was actually born James Vincenzo Capone, and his brother was the notorious gangster Al Capone. I leave you now on the rolling plains of northeast Nebraska. Remember, everyone, be good to each other, think good thoughts, do good deeds, and I will see you again.